Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your June 2020 mid-month general readings. We're looking at the last half of June. This reading is for the fire sign of Aries, our Rams. That's Aries sun, moon, rising. If your Venus is in Aries, if you're cross-watching for Aries, watch all of your signs if you know them. If you can, watch all the videos for them because, general readings, of course, mean something a little differently to everyone who watches. And if you know your sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, watching all of them can bring in additional bits of information which can, give you a bit of more clarity on what's going on in your life right now. If any of the videos do resonate with you and you'd like to take a deeper look at something, reach out for a personal reading, information on a personal reading, just click on the description link below, click on that little arrow, it'll pull down some information and contact details. You can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I can usually respond to initial inquiries with more info the same day or the first 24 hours, and I do readings full time. It's all that I do, so I'm pretty diligent at working with your schedule, my schedule, to get those readings set up as quickly as possible. So email me if you're interested. Welcome everyone. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today, to tune in, for all your support of this channel, liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that stuff. Thank you so much. I hope everyone is staying safe and well during conditions which often seem unsafe and insane. So I hope everyone is doing well. And let's remember to be kind to each other. Okay, Aries, let's move right in here and see what the last half of June holds for you. I am using the Legacy of the Divine Tarot. Okay, Aries, we begin with the Knight of Swords. Some information coming in, followed by the Nine of Swords, the Ace of Wands, with the Seven of Cups, from the bottom of the deck, here you are, the Emperor, as overall energy for the last half of June. Aries energy here with the Emperor. It even has the Ram sign at the top. So Aries, this is your energy, your focus for the last 2 weeks of June. So basically in your element. The Emperor is the kind of the ultimate father figure of the tarot. He stands at the top of the deck. He is in the sense that he's kind of overall, all the kings answer to him. The Emperor is in charge of the entire empire, all the kingdoms, all the kings and queens that are in charge of their kingdoms. He's kind of over all of that. So this is a pretty big job. So this is somebody who's probably, he could be chronologically or just emotionally, mentally older. This is somebody who has a great deal of discipline, self-control, self-structure. He lives and rules an empire where, everything needs to run on time or chaos. So that's a lot of detail. So this is somebody who's very good at kind of overseeing and managing that, he's very by the book. He can be sometimes very rigid, controlling, dominating, because he's all about making sure everything falls in a structure. Everything that he does affects the lives of everyone in his empire, so because of that, he very carefully, ideally, examines everything. So self-control, structure, kind of being in your own power, and being very kind of self-controlled and focused on making sure that everything kind of falls in alignment. So that's the overall energy for the last half of June. And as advice, it represents not only manifesting all of these character traits in the most positive way you can, but the Emperor can also represent making the decision that's best for the greater good, which the Emperor does, and kings and queens too, to a little bit of a lesser degree. I mean, every decision that the Emperor makes affects everyone in his empire. So this is somebody who sometimes has to set aside perhaps his own personal wants or desires or impulses or fears in order to make the decision that's best for the greater good of all. So that's your overall energy and focus for the last half of June. So we have here the Knight of Swords and the Nine of Swords. Swords is air energy, energy of the mind, how we think, words, ideas, communications, our belief systems and ideologies, and how we communicate those outward. Truth, education, higher knowledge, wisdom, mental energy. So here comes the Knight. Knights are deliverers. They're the deliverers, the defenders, missions, quests. So this is the Knight of information. So there's information, news, messages coming in. It looks like some of you may be hearing something. However, it's a cause of a fair amount of stress for you, because clarifying the Knight of Swords is the Nine of Swords, the insomnia card. This is a card that represents, it might be affecting your sleep. This is a card that is often about experiencing, it's kind of your fear is hijacking your mind. A high degree of stress, anxiety, fear. It's typically fear of the future because of some kind of information that's coming in, or that you're hearing about, or that's brought to you. You find out somehow. It's causing a lot of stress, fear, anxiety, doubt, etc. about how something's going to play out in the future. Now, the positive aspect of the Nine of Swords, even though I hate saying it for anybody, nobody wants to feel like this. The positive aspect of it is it usually represents that what we've built it up to be in our heads is usually bigger and worse than the actual reality of the external reality of this situation. I don't often like saying, making mountains out of molehills, because it kind of trivializes what you might be worried about. But this doesn't have to be a 9. You can cut this down, halfway. So there's something coming in that, has you leaving kind of stressed and anxious. This feels a little bit like Leo's reading too. Similar theme here. So that's around the middle of June, third week of June, and then in the last or towards the end of June we have the Ace of Wands and the Seven of Cups. So there's some kind of exciting, action-oriented new opportunity here, desire, passion, some new beginning that you are kind of considering all the different options about, maybe thinking about the best that something could be if you decide to embark upon it or take this opportunity. Although sometimes the Seven of Cups can represent unrealistic thinking, focusing only on the most perfect outcome of something. Because Cups is water energy, which is all emotional energy, and it's a lovely card. We all need to dream and explore all the best and most perfect potential and opportunities of how things can turn out. But this can be a card kind of having your head in the clouds, being a bit unrealistic, not choosing one thing to focus on and working on manifesting that, kind of building castles in the sky about some new opportunity or something that you're thinking about. It could be for some of you, most of us, if not all of us, during times of stress and fear and doubt, give ourselves sometimes a mental break and vacation by just daydreaming or fantasizing about something else we want to do or something else we want to start. So for some of you, this is a general reading. There's many of you watching. It just might be a bit of escapism, mental or emotional escapism towards the end of the month, or thinking, I'm really stressed out about this and I'm afraid of how something's going to turn out or pan out. So I'm instead choosing to kind of take my mind and my heart in a different direction and look at, starting this thing over here or traveling over here and, all the wonderful things that could happen there. It could be just that for some of you. So let's clarify some of this. Let's clarify this Knight of Swords. What is this Knight of Swords about? The Queen of Wands. This might be a relationship for some of you, a love and romance relationship or a partnership of some kind. Queen of Wands, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Maybe some of you are involved with a Leo, I'm getting. In this deck, she's pretty fierce, This is somebody who knows what she wants, beautiful, charismatic, driven, ambitious. She's a good leader, a good delegator. She knows how to get it done. She's not afraid to walk away from something if it isn't working. So this is clarifying the Knight of Swords. There's some kind of information or news coming in. It might be delivered by this person. It might be about this person, and it's causing you some kind of fear and angst about, okay, well, because of this, how's it going to work out? I'm kind of feeling like this is an interaction you have with this person, Aries. Could be another fire sign. It might be somebody you're involved with in a romantic way, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. Could be a friend or a business partner. I feel like there's been some kind of verbal interaction between the two of you, and you're stressed out about it. He or she may be saying something to you, or maybe you had some kind of argument or conflict. Yeah, I am getting a partnership, whether it's a love partnership or family or business. I am getting a partnership. An interesting partnership if it's like Aries and Leo, or Aries and Aries, or Aries and Sagittarius, two fire signs, should definitely keep you on your toes, but won't take any guff from you. It could be rather tumultuous between two very strong-willed individuals. Let's see if we can break that down a little bit more. Clarify the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Swords. It might be that second and a bit more powerful eclipse happening in the second part of June. I think it's the 21st or 22nd. Might be affecting the fire signs a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, we have the Five of Wands, conflicts, argument, although it's a bit petty in nature. The World right behind that, it's bringing something to an end and moving on to the next phase. That's what the World card simplistically means. This is the last major arcana card in the tarot. It's major arcana, which is energies of God, spirit, your angels, and guides. It's profound energy, much stronger energy if you're seeing the minor cards or the pip cards. The first card, a major arcana card in the tarot, is the Fool. That's who we all are. With the zero. He's the first card. He has a zero on his card. And this is all about beginning a journey. And then all the cards after the Fool are about the Fool's journey through life or through a certain part of his life. It's our journey. Until we get to the end of a particular part of the journey, which culminates in the World. Achievement, completion, a cycle over, a major cycle over, and preparing for something new, preparing for a new change, preparing for a new journey, the next phase. So there's some kind of conflict, arguments, competitive energy over wanting something, or about perhaps a relationship or partnership or something that you've been focused on, coming to an end and moving into the next natural phase of something. So that looks like what the nature of this, again, it feels like a conversation or disagreement of some kind, internal conflict, external conflict. So that's what that's all about. And you've got this kind of, even though you're being the emperor, you're kind of staying, controlled and trying to kind of keep everything in order. Underneath it, you're really stressed out about how this is going to play out in the future. And Aries, I think for those of you for whom this is a personal relationship, this is a relationship I think you've been in, some of you have been in for quite some time, because I've seen this kind of come up from time to time for you over the last year or so. Let's see what this possible new beginning or thing that you're considering, different aspects of or different opportunities of here with this Ace of Wands and Seven of Cups. I mean, for some of you, so if this is, for example, for some of you, this is going to be like a romantic relationship where you or your partner is coming in and saying, okay, look, we've been together for this long, or we've been on this thing or in this place or whatever for all of this time, and it's really time for this to come to an end. It's really time for our relationship or our whatever to, we've done this before, we're here, it's time to close out this chapter and move on to the next chapter, or perhaps I just need to move on, period. Some of you may be hearing that from a partner or saying that to a partner. But for, I think, a lot of you, it would be your partner saying it to you. They're ready for what feels like the natural conclusion of a certain part of this partnership so that you can move on into a new phase, or they want to move on, period, which is maybe where the stress is coming from, because maybe you don't want to do that because you feel it's going to give up too much of your independence, or, whatever you tell yourself. So this Ace of Wands and this Seven of Cups, in the last week or so could be you're contemplating, okay, what if we do move forward into the next phase or whatever? Or it could be you're maybe fantasizing or daydreaming about just taking off and having some new start somewhere else. So let's see what that's about. Because the Seven of Cups is a card of kind of daydreaming and thinking about the potential of different options. You might have different options you're exploring. They might have different options they're exploring. I mean, for some of you, maybe it's a partner whom you don't want to let go of, but you don't want to move into the next phase either. And they're saying, well, I need to, so you need to fish or cut bait, so to speak. And, there's all the stress and anxiety. And next to this, we have the Seven of Cups is next to this. So for some of you, there may be some insecurity or jealousy. You may think that your partner has multiple options. You have multiple options, but there's a lot of stress about it. Feels very kind of single-themed and focused, Aries, but that's what I'm kind of getting. Knight of Cups, a loving offer of love, somebody who's charging in to offer their love, their support, their encouragement, make an offer. Judgment, final opportunity. The Ace of Cups right behind that for an emotional renewal and a new emotional beginning. But for here, I mean, sometimes the Ace of Cups can represent new love and romance or the beginnings of self-love. But because we have the Knight of Cups and Judgment with it, I mean, Judgment is usually a often final opportunity to make a decision maybe different than the decision you made before around this issue. There's an air of finality about Judgment, meaning that, first of all, this is a pretty profound opportunity. What does it mean to be judged? It means you're called to account for yourself. You're called to answer for your actions, good, bad, pretty, ugly, and different. And it's going to set the stage for something for quite a long time, if not the rest of your life, or at least with this situation. It usually represents whatever choice you make in this, whatever you choose to say or do or set into motion, you're not going to be able to go back from it. Often the second chance and last chance card. So, and that's right in between the Knight of Cups and the Ace of Cups. So there is an opportunity here, a pretty significant opportunity, maybe the one you've had before within this situation, relationship, partnership, situationship, whatever it is, to make the offer, to take the chance to move forward. And there's a pretty strong implication here, Aries, that it won't come around again, that this will be kind of it. Now, some of you, you can always reverse it. Secondarily, this could be you presenting this to a partner of some kind. Feels kind of like a romantic situation. But it could be a partnership of a different kind. And the issues that you're struggling with a partner, the primary issue or whatever it is that seems to be over so that you can move into another phase. It might not be about the relationship, it might be about something else, but that it significantly affects your relationship, So let's wrap this up by pulling some advice and guidance cards. Let's see what God, Spirit, your angels, and guides would like you to focus on in regards to this. It looks like this is a big and perhaps final opportunity. There may be a complete ending after this in a way that might be painful. If you choose not to step forward, make the offer, take the offer. And that's okay too. Honor whatever decisions you make. If you choose to say no or not to resolve this in the way that it seems like it should be resolved or that a partner wants it to be resolved, free will, free agency. But what I am seeing here pretty clearly, Aries, is that it doesn't look like there's going to be another go around after this. The Lovers, make the decision about the relationship or that will affect the relationship. And we have the Four of Wands and the Nine of Cups after that. Wish fulfillment, happy home, marriage, weddings, home stability, preparing for an exciting family and friend oriented party or celebration. Again, it's one of the wedding cards. So Spirit is saying, make the decision. The Lovers is about that relationship, that kinetic, passionate, which if you're two fire signs in a relationship, would be fairly kinetic. It's a lot of fire. Make the decision, make the choice, whether it's about the partnership, something that's going to affect the partnership, or whether it's about two other people, for joy and fulfillment and home stability. So however the details work on this for you, because it's a general reading, we all have very different lives. So whether it's love and romance, a different kind of relationship, a business issue, partnership, the theme is the same, the energy is the same, and the advice is the same. A decision needs to be made. You have judgment in the Lovers. This is a significant decision. I don't feel like this particular opportunity or chance to say yay or nay will come around again after this. So if you say yes, you'll move forward. If you say no, you won't. But I don't think you're going to get the chance again. Spirit is directing you to make the decision that's best for your home happiness and stability, and joy and fulfillment, for stability of family. Because ultimately that's what the Four of Wands is. It can represent celebratory events, weddings, graduations, marriages, anniversaries, birthdays. It can represent that anticipatory excitement of preparing for this event, which includes family and friends, and it's all about celebration and stability of everything that falls under the umbrella of home, of family, of friends that are like family, which is one of the reasons why it's a card that points to things like weddings, marriages, home stability, the 1111 card, and the Nine of Cups is the wish fulfillment, getting what you want. So the decision needs to be made. I don't think this opportunity is going to come around again. So if this is a romantic relationship and your partner saying, look, we've been through this and all this time, and it's time I need to move on, whether we move on together, we move on separately, I think they mean it, or vice versa, because I don't think this is going to come around again. We do have a couple of eclipses in the month of June, so probably a lot of profound changes and upsets, which are really opportunities for change, are coming up, and this looks like one of them for perhaps particularly the fire signs in the second eclipse of this month. So free will, of course, but I think Spirit's made it clear what direction they want them, a lot of you to kind of focus on and go in. So Aries, that is your reading for the last half of June. I hope that you enjoyed it and found it helpful and useful. Again, if you would like to take a deeper look at something or reach out for a personal reading, just click on the description link below. Feel free to email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to hear from you and delighted to work with you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the July 2020 general readings. Be safe, be well, be kind, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.